What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, August 29th, 2025, and we are here at Polderbaan, which is now the primary runway for arrivals. Parallel arrivals still in progress. Center is still open. It's going to close pretty soon, I expect. Lovely weather here. The sun is out, mostly blue skies. We are expecting rain and showers again later in the afternoon. Should be drifting in from the west over the North Sea. At a distance you can see there is more cloudiness, also a bit further to the north already. Yesterday was terrible. We had showers in the morning and also in the afternoon, quite severe actually. Flooded cycling paths. So I took a day off yesterday and yeah, if weather will allow me to, I'll do a stream on Monday to compensate. So Friday through Monday for this weekend, weather permitting. First airplane of today's show, Emirates Sky Cargo. Adi Marja, goedenavond. Adi Barry, goedemorgen. Martin, goedemorgen. Dodo, goedemorgen kerel. STE Parker, good morning. Swedish Car Spotter, good morning. Dutch Plane Spotter, good morning. J.W. Slijm, goedemorgen. Honda, goedemorgen. Good morning Jay. Welcome back guys. Redison Wife, good morning Simi. I saw your email only late yesterday evening, so I wasn't able to implement the new code yet. This is still the old widget. What is new for today though? Oh, why did my phone screen go out? Well, I wasn't using the phone. This is the first stream with a new SIM card and a new provider, Odido. I did a speed test just now, upload of 40 megabits per second and 7 is needed to get a good quality stream. So shouldn't have any problems with the internet connection. Massively more upload and download, both at home and in the field, than with KPN. And KPN, ever since I filled in the form to cancel their subscription, has been bugging me on a daily basis. They try to reach me, their help desk, each day, either during office hours or during dinner time, instead of just leaving me alone and administering the cancellation request. So if there's one provider in the Netherlands that I highly don't recommend that you use, it is KPN. Only for the stalking that they have been doing since I requested cancellation of my subscription, that alone is reason enough never to go ahead with them. Just a heads up, incredibly how they've been stalking me. And Dodo wonders if he is going to stand on the bridge, if he will be in the way. No mate, absolutely not. They'll have vacated the runway before then. Yeah, but I'm very pleased. I have requested a dual SIM so that I can keep a dedicated SIM in my modem and a dedicated SIM in my phone. The bottleneck location for reception for KPN was Victor 3 here at the Polderbaan. But thus far, both reception and download and upload speed have been consistently higher than with KPN, so I am optimistic it will work out great. Hopefully that'll resolve any buffering issues. Should have more than ample headroom now. Good morning Varun. Fireman Martino, goedemorgen. Greet, goedemorgen. Martin, goedemorgen. Sparky goes around the world, good morning. Herzlich willkommen. Gallows Close, good morning. And good morning to everybody else. It's a calm day today in the sense that not much is coming in with 4 engines. We have the A380. Last time I checked, its ETA was 107. There are 2 747s underway. Both I expect will land here on the Polderbaan. The first one is about to enter Dutch airspace already and is, well, not yet, but is flying over Germany, Cathay Pacific Cargo. And there is another airplane underway arriving from Miami. There was another one underway from Miami, but I only saw it take off this morning, and that's expected after 3 o'clock, I think. Same for, what was it again? The red and yellow livery. Suparna. Suparna is also underway, but expected, I thought it was 2:50 p.m. So I'm probably going to stick around until the A380 will have landed, and unless there's something interesting following right away, I'll probably end around that time. The Transavia Retro is underway to Tenerife. It's going to be late before it returns. It will return later. Orange Pride is expected to depart tonight, so no chance of seeing it before then. Hey Tina, goedemorgen. Mees, good morning. Balbers, good morning. Jellard, goedemorgen. Hans-Jozef, goedemorgen. Daniel, goedemorgen. HJS, goedemorgen. Welkom terug, man. Long time no see, I think. I've got a feeling it's been a while, HJS. Hope all is well. So yeah, they've made progress with reinforcing the dike, as you can see. Both the boards and the poles now finished further to the north. In fact, from where I am standing, looking north, I don't see that there are big stacks of poles or boards left. Now all what's left to do is get rid of the sand, of course. I'm still standing right next to the cycling path where grass is highest. But yeah, slowly but surely we'll get there, I think. Q-Trader, good morning. Ruben, goedemorgen. Paul, good morning, mate. Harriet, goedemorgen. Artjan, goedemorgen. Richard, goedemorgen. En meneer, goedemorgen. A passerby also greeting me. So yeah, let me see if I can also show you some more stuff. We have an A330 coming in, arriving from Edmonton. Let's have a quick look. This is the METAR in the ticker, I think, unless it has... Well, no, this is an old one. This should be the latest. Wind is blowing from the south, 11 knots, it's 17 degrees C. Headwind for the pilot's landing. It's Cavoquet, as you could already see, only some high clouds. Runway use, not much to write home about. And looking in the sky on Flight Radar, we can see that the Cathay Pacific Cargo 747-8 is arriving in around 10, so it should land on the Polderbaan. Cargo Lux is also underway. Will be arriving here shortly before noon, and yeah, Emirates is arriving around 1:07. So as it stands, it's a candidate for the center runway, but we'll have to see. In the meantime, a massive big thank you to Paul. Paul Don already gifting a membership. Mate, you didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. The recipient is Ben Cruiser. Ben, welcome to the show, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Don't forget to say thank you to Paul for the gifted membership. Have fun with the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal. Paul, thank you so much for your generosity. Ben Cruze, welcome to the show, mate. Lindy, goedemorgen. Jan, goedemorgen. DJ Digital Media, goedemorgen. Southern Pilot, goedemorgen. Good morning. This is KLM Flight 676, arriving from Edmonton, Canada. 7 hours, 55 minutes underway. It's the Faka, aka the PH, aka. As in, how's your mother, Faka? Not cussing here, just mentioning the name of the registration. Ah. Well, nice of you to say hi AS in the chat. De Frans, goedemorgen. Albert, goedemorgen. Malé, goedemorgen. Marcus, good morning. Goedemorgen. Alrighty. Let's see. Outbound traffic. Yeah. Embraer. KLM Embraer. Arriving traffic downwind, also visible. Happy to see it. Delta A350? Where's that outbound? Let's see. That's probably outbound. Ah, outbound traffic. Alright, well. Let's see. 2 airplane glide slope. 3rd airplane is turning in. KLM flight 978 here in the foreground, arriving from London City, Embraer 190. The airplane now in the middle is El Al flight 337, 787-9, arriving from Tel Aviv. The airplane turning in, that is BA flight 436, an A320, arriving from London Heathrow. Mark, goedemorgen, good morning. Senna, goedemorgen, good morning. HZ, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody else who may have joined in the meantime. Yo, what up? Captain Jerry Donnelly is back in the chat and he comes in with a bang. Mate, you really didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. Now, it's a bit longer message, so I need to scroll. Plus, I thought maybe switching up the pan speed 1 notch. Would be a good idea, but it wasn't. Let's just go back to what it was. My upload speed is 2 Jägermeister per hour and an extra for 3 plane glide slope with 1 turning base. I won't call and annoy you. Mate, that'll be the day when you will start annoying us. I think that day has yet to come. Jerome, thank you so much for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the kind words. Hope you're doing well. Are you still in hospital or are you on your way home already? Good morning, Razor013. Willem, goedemorgen. Oscar, good morning. This is El Al flight 337, arriving from Tel Aviv. 7879 Dreamliner. Those flaps are surely extended. They look clean too. Lee, good morning. Welcome back, mate. Yuri, goedemorgen. Welcome one and all. It's a beautiful day. This is looking to the east. You can see, barring any cirrus clouds, any high cirrus clouds, it is a perfect blue sky. South, west. Yeah, don't look at the horizon, the westerly horizon. That's for later today. The upcoming hours should be good. I don't think the weather forecast predicted any chance of precipitation before 1 to 2 p.m. Let's see how cloudy things are come the end of the stream, but for now everything looks perfectly fine. Big contrast with yesterday, particularly in the west. Torrential rain. BA flight 436 arriving from London Heathrow. Master Renderer, goedemorgen. Leo, goedemorgen. Jurk, good morning. SDJ, goedemorgen, good morning. Jerome is in hospital until September 9. So that is, let's see, I think September 1st is Monday, right? So that's 9 days. Wednesday? Not next week Wednesday, but the week thereafter? How's the recovery going, Jerry? Are you making progress? Are you feeling better? Starting to feel better at least? You better be careful, mate. I think you've been in hospital too regularly since I've gotten to know you. Gerda, goedemorgen. LGS Alexit. Goedemorgen, good morning. LGS, that's probably an abbreviation for something. Our next airplane is KLM Air France flight 1340, arriving from Paris. And Dutch KLM arriving from Paris right immediately after that. Air France A320. KLM will fly A737-800 in. Ah, Tuesday. Thank you, Eigenwoogse. Venno, goedemorgen. Casp, good morning. Alrighty. Air France just landed, arriving from Paris. This is KLM flight 1402, arriving from Paris. Flight 1402, A737-800. And after that, Air Canada flight 900, arriving from Montreal in Canada. And a Dreamliner from Air Europa should be turning in. LOL Gaming Squad, LGS. I thought it might have been a company name or something, but it's a game group. Now we know. Thanks for letting us know, mate. And Captain Jerry is doing a lot better. He exercised his arm daily watching porn. That's exactly the kind of information we've all been waiting for to know. We can all sleep happy now knowing that you get plenty of arm exercise. Make sure you switch sides so that you don't grow your muscles unilaterally. That's not good for balance, asymmetric muscle growth. Nuno, good morning. Ronald, goedemorgen. KLM flight 1402 comes equipped with a carrying cabin. Mika, good morning. Ah, Cathay Pacific Cargo just overhead Mika's place. Yeah, it's expected pretty soon. Should be nice. Double AMS Live logo in the house. Hey there, Peter K. Good morning. Welcome back, mate. QJ, good morning. Jazzy, good morning. NL Gaming, good morning. Two back-to-back Dreamliners. And Delta Airlines will be turning in the background somewhere. Alright, we can already see it. There it is. Delta Airlines Flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. And that is an A330-300. Dear come tourists tuning in from Taiwan. Hope you're having fun there. Hope it's not too warm. Rob, Lane, goedemorgen. Dutch Aviator, goedemorgen, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're here at Polderbaan, which you probably already could see. At least the progress. Ooh, reversers. At least I'm making progress. At least they're making progress with the dike reinforcement. Not sure what they're doing. They're checking something over here. This morning was when I was walking up here, they were double checking something. It seemed like sometimes they were dropping something behind the poles, between the poles and the sand. But no more collections of poles and boards. It seems that as far as we can see from here, they have finished reinforcing the dike. The only thing they still need to do is get rid of the sand, additional sand. Doug, good morning. Stefan, good morning. Lane, good morning. Marcel, good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Gertin en Jacqueline, goedemorgen. Thibaut, goedemorgen. Next airplane arriving is Air Europa Flight 1091, arriving from Madrid, 7878 Dreamliner, the ECNXA, November X-ray Alpha. Flight time 1 hour 59 minutes, 11-year-old airplane already. First flight somewhere in 2014, June to be precise. Right, the next landing might get loud, so a word of warning, a word of caution. AMS Live cannot be held accountable for loss to any eardrums or speakers. You are watching this channel at your own discretion. There it is, Delta Airlines Flight 74, A330-300, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight time 7 hours and 34 minutes. It's the November 826 November Whiskey. Hey Jolanda, goedemorgen. Mr. F, good morning. The airplane that we are now watching is 9 years old. Its first flight was in January 2016. Peter Petist, good morning. Erik Esti, good morning. Swedish Car Spotter, good morning. Midvi, good morning. Next up will be SAS. SAS Flight 821, arriving from Oslo. That's an A320neo, and we can already see another airplane behind it. That's EasyJet Flight 22921, arriving from Bristol. Rodak also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. One more month until you are turning blue. Hope everything is still to your liking in the lounge, mate. 23 months and counting. Thank you so much for the ongoing support, Gratje. If anything is amiss in the lounge, let me know and let me see what I can do to fix it. "23 months. And Flores is also coming in with a membership celebration. 19 months a member. So lovely here in the lounge, he writes. Well, I am happy to hear that, Flores. For you two goes, if anything is amiss, let me know. Let me see what I can do to fix it. 19 months. Thank you so much for the ongoing support, Floris. Dennis W, goedemorgen. Dijs Rebel. Tuning in from Ireland, good morning. Fabian, good morning. Milan, good morning. Clouds, good morning. Scandinavian Airlines. SAS. It's A320's time. It's A320 time. EasyJet arriving from Bristol will be next. After that, another A320 from Vueling arriving from Bilbao. We can already see a third airplane turning in. That is Finnair flight 1301. Today an A321 and not an A350, unfortunately. Vliegveld Twente spotters, goedemorgen. Jonathan says it's coming up to 9 AM. I think I need some vodka. Well, you make a good point. I think I might also be in for a sip. Russell Crowe is also greeting everybody. He is sitting on the other side. Let me see if I can show you him. Bear with me, goedemorgen, good morning. And the 747 is now over Lelystad, so it is approaching. Shouldn't be too long. And Russell Crowe is right there, saying hi to all the AMS Live viewers. Rah, rah. Well, what a mother ducker he is. The excavator, driving around back and forth. Peter de Vries, goedemorgen. Russell, good morning. Greetings from Canada, eh? This is Vueling flight 8354, arriving from Bilbao in the north of Spain. Flight time only 1 hour and 39 minutes. Less flight time than, for instance, Madrid or Barcelona. Little sip of vodka to keep the juices flowing. Hans' favorite, flight time 1 hour and 40 minutes. 9-year-old airplane, first flight February 2016. Up next, Finnair with an A321. Big picture wise, this is what it looks like. This is looking to the east. This is what things look like to the south. This is what things look like to the west. What up? And turning back the way we came so that the camera cables don't get tangled. This is looking to the north. Next up, Finnair flight 1301, arriving from bloody Helsinki in Finland. 2 hours and 25 minutes on the way. That seems a tad long. Normally speaking, the flight time averages around 2 hours. So either they took a different route or they must have encountered headwind. Although, well, yeah, no, that might be, that still might be the case. It's the OHLZP Lima Zulu Papa. And this particular airplane is 8 years old. First flight April 2017. And that is already 8 years ago. It's also when I graduated more or less from my second studies. Somewhere in 2017. Already 8 years ago. Good morning, Russell. Oh no, already said hi to Russell. Good morning, Martin. En Flip, goedemorgen. Welcome back. Dennis says that was more than just a sip. Well, it was a sip. A big sip is a sip after all. I'm looking up because I thought there was something promising coming my way, but it looks like the airplane either is no longer producing a contrail, or it went it went away from me instead of coming towards me. Sudden stop, and looking where I think the airplane would have continued if it was flying east to west. I'm not seeing anything, so ghost airplane producing a contrail and all of a sudden gone. Kenzo, goedemorgen. Laura, Lotje, goedemorgen, good morning. Delaware, good morning. Right, the 747 is in the vicinity of Permanent, says Flight Radar, and that means it's in the vicinity of the scale of chimney smoke chimneys. So I'm trying to see if I can spot something. The downside of looking there is that you can see the backdrop is whitish, and that makes it hard to see airplanes, particularly since Cathay already is mostly white. Flying from the side makes no difference then. It's harder to see against a white backdrop than blue. It does become more blue looking further to the left. I for one am struggling with seeing the airplane. Let's focus on what we can see best. For now, that is an A320 from Croatia Airlines, arriving from Zagreb. Next after that, a KLM 787-10, arriving from Cartagena. Howdy Wes, tuning in all the way from Texas. You're either up early or up late still. Welcome to the channel, mate. Welcome to the show, one and all. This is KLM Flight 749, which is returning from Cartagena, which is in Colombia, and that's right next to Ecuador. This is a 787-10 Dreamliner, 8 hours and 50 minutes the traveling time. It's the Papa Hotel, Bravo Kilo Delta. The lights of the airplane that you see behind it are EasyJet Flight 28674. It's like reciting a phone number. It's an A320neo arriving from Gatwick, and a Delta A330neo arriving from Salt Lake City should be turning in the background as third. Always hard to see, to gauge where airplanes are based on what you see on Flight Radar. Should be turning in. Carol in the world, good morning, welcome back. For a moment I was distracted. I thought I was hearing firefighters, which I haven't seen yet since arriving here, so either they're not coming or they're still due to pass us by. There certainly are vehicles in the vicinity of the fire station, but are they fire trucks? They're not, or at least not all of them. Not seeing them. I thought I was hearing something, but auditory hallucination probably. Let's see, that 747 is now turning in and should be on the glide slope by now. So let's see. You'd think, oh wait, it overshot a little, so it should be arriving from the left. At least that's what Flight Radar says. Rob, goedemorgen. And good morning to everybody else who joined. So where is the Queen? Am I crazy? I'm not seeing it. Marike, goedemorgen. Ralph, goedemorgen. Ah, there she is. She was probably just behind the pipes. Right, well, there's an EasyJet landing here. I'm going to skip it. Keep my attention on the heavy hitters. Delta Airlines Flight 56 arriving from Salt Lake City in the top. And right behind it, the first of two 747s expected for this show. Cathay Pacific Cargo, Flight 65 arriving from Dubai World Center. The gear is extending, as you can see. And it seems that we have crossed through 200 likes. Thank you all so much for that, guys. If you want to help this channel for free, liking and subscribing if you haven't done so already is the way to go. It'll promote the channel's content to new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet, but who might be willing to join our awesome community if only they knew of our existence. DB Baseman also back in the chat, perfect timing. Delta Airlines Flight 56 in the foreground, underway from Salt Lake City in Utah, 9 hours and 21 minutes the journey. 4-year-old airplane, first flight April 2021, the November 410 Delta Zulu. Hadi Ruud, goedemorgen. Greenlight, goedemorgen. Malek, goedemorgen. Jason, good evening. There's a second 747 underway, which is expected around noon, arriving from Miami, Florida. Cargo Lux. Good morning, Smeedy. And all others. Now, quick look at the landing. Might get loud. Might also not get loud. Alright, nicely done. If it looked pixelated, it's because I was using a lot of digital zoom in addition to optical zoom. This is back in the optical zoom range. Cathay Pacific Cargo, Flight 65, the next airplane to arrive here. Arriving from Dubai World Center, it's a 747-8 freighter. And 7 hours and 17 minutes is the flight time. So it definitely took a different route than, for instance, the Emirates A380 would. Taking almost an hour more, 45 minutes more than the average flight time of the A380 when it arrives from Dubai. Registration is Bravo Lima Juliet Juliet. This particular airplane is 12 years old already. Its first flight was in October 2012. Gratje, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. A super chat. This helps the channel even more. Smirking smiley. It definitely helps the channel. The more structural help is, of course, when you guys like and subscribe and share. But this definitely helps, Gratje. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but you did it anyway. Thank you so much, mate. Let's look and listen. Will it apply reversers? Yes, it will. Oh man. Wax Chisek, good morning. Perfect timing. Maug, good morning. Ulf, guten Morgen. Perfecte Timing. Jendrosik, goedemorgen kerel. Mooi getimed. Her Majesty the Queen has arrived. It's the first of two. The next 747 will arrive around noon. Cargolux arriving from Miami, Florida. The A380 will also arrive around 1 o'clock. If you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. Plenty more coming. We're going to catch them all, just like Pokemon. They're still working here. Tinkering with the construction of the fortification of the dike. Perfecting it. Captain Jerry seems to notice that it's sitting low to the ground. In other words, that she's heavy. Is that so? Never really paid much attention to how high the airplanes are sitting once landed. Let's see if we can try to memorize what this looks like and compare that with the Cargolux. Jan, goedemorgen. And Peter K, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. Peter K just now gifting a membership, and Maug, which I hopefully pronounced somewhat properly, and was the recipient. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines, Maug. Well, you already said hi to Peter K. It's time for you to enjoy the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal. Peter, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. And welcome back, Maug. Richard says your floor heating will be finished on time before the winter. I sure hope so. The meteorological autumn already begins on Monday here. Pierre, good morning. Boreas, goedemorgen kerel. Welcome back. Her Majesty is taxiing back to her platform where to park, which is probably on the south side of the Kaagbaan. Yeah, it is on the south side, I think. Even before the north side was no longer accessible, I think they already always parked on the south side. So still 10 minutes, 15 minutes of taxi ahead of them, depending on how fast they will taxi on the long straight stretch next to the center runway, of course. Right, big picture wise, we've missed out on, is that a twin jet or a quad? I think a twin. An airplane passing by just south of me. Yeah, that's a twin jet. So that's on its way probably to the United States or Canada from Frankfurt, probably looking to the west towards the Gulf of Yorkshire, the North Sea as some still call it, and everything is mostly blue. Look at the horizon though and you can see the signs of more unstable weather. That is expected for later in the day. Rain is expected to enter the country from the west somewhere in the afternoon, between 1 and 2 at least, if not a bit later. Looking to the north, this is looking to the east. The sun is now shining without any hindrance. And lastly, this is looking to the south. Hey, flight radar says that there's a busiest about to pass overhead. Over Haarlem. Looks like it'll be a bit further to the north. Oh yeah, I have it. Bit hard to find airplanes that don't produce contrails. Yeah, there it is. The business jet is turning to the north, so it's going to land on runway 22 presumably. In the meantime, we missed the arrival of a KLM Embraer 175 flight 1772 that arrived from Berlin. And the airplane that we saw just now was a Bombardier Global 5500, arriving from West Hampton. West Hampton Beach, to be precise. 6 hours and 6 minutes on the way. Next airplane arriving over here is KLM Flight 668, which is arriving from Austin, Texas. 7879 Dreamliner, 8 hours and 38 minutes on the way. The Papa Hotel, Bravo Hotel Charlie. Rudy, goedemorgen. Transavia Geek, goedemorgen, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we are here at Polderbaan. Visibility somewhat improved compared with last week. They are continuing working on reinforcing the canal. Slowly but surely getting there. Transavia Geek, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thinking smiley or something. Thank you so much. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Abhishek, good morning. Booyah, good morning. Oh, we have viewers from Greenland. Nice, Nuuk. I think that's the name of my my parka. That model is called a Nuuk, if I recall correctly. From Fjellraven. Eight hours 40 minutes the flight time for this flight. It's the Papa Hotel BHC. That's not THC, which would be more appropriate for a Dutch airplane, but Bravo Hotel Charlie. So yeah, lovely day. These are probably the best hours of the day. More raininess is expected for later today. Zeron 2, good morning. The next airplane is still a bit further away. Gives us another moment to have a look at the weather and flight radar. For those of you joining us later, let's have a look. The Cathay Pacific Cargo 747-8 landed just now. That's the first of two 747s underway today. There's a cargo lux underway. Expected around 12:05, arriving from Miami. At the time when only one runway is going to be open, it will land on the Polderbaan almost certainly. Emirates is also underway, flight 10147, standard livery, 107 the ETA. There's more underway, but that's for later today. There is an Atlas Air underway, which I saw this morning taking off. ETA 3:45 p.m. out of the scope of today's show, and so too is the arrival of Suparna, arriving 2:54. Transavia is about to land on Tenerife. 26 minutes left before it's going to land there. An hour of turnaround time usually for short haul flights, and then another, well, you can do the math, 3 hours and 37 minutes plus 26 minutes, another 4 hours. So that's 5 hours before the Transavia is going to be back in the Netherlands. So that's the end of the afternoon. Also out of the scope of today's show. EasyJet Jesus is flying from Alicante to London Gatwick. Also not going to be a visitor here at Schiphol today. So yeah, it's in that respect somewhat of a calm show. The wind is still blowing from the south, you can see in the meter. Headwind for the airplanes that are arriving here. Let me also refresh the meter for you guys and have a look at it visually. For some reason, when loading the page, it opens up with runway 2204. Either one of the 1836 runways, of course, will give you the same runway heading. It means that there's headwind with a slither of crosswind for the airplanes landing. Wind is picking up, 14 knots now. It was expected to be around 15 during the day. Still cavalcade, 17 degrees C, lovely weather here. So an absolutely lovely late summer, early autumn show, if you can call it that. In the meantime, SAS is getting closer by. It's SAS flight 1553, an A320neo, and a blue tractor is coming our way. Is that New Holland? It is. Been watching a lot of agricultural YouTube videos lately. Blue tractors are usually New Holland, green often Fendt, red almost certainly Massey Ferguson. In the meantime, Richard, good morning. Peter, good morning. And Lord Andrew also back in the chat. Lord Andrew, good morning, and thank you so much for your generosity. Lord Andrew just now gifting 5 memberships. Hope that everybody who received a gifted membership from you will say thank you for the gifted membership and will have fun with the custom emojis that they now have at their disposal for a month. Lord Andrew, thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines new members. Michael also back in the chat, good morning. Henrik, good morning. SAS flight 1553, A320neo, arriving from Stockholm. 1 hour 44 minutes, the flight time. ISIN is the registration, EISIN, Sierra India, November. And light green tractors are Deutsch Fahr. There you go. Good morning, Nigel, and good morning all others who may have joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live still. My name is Boy. We're here at the Polderbaan with weather that is quite different than what we had, at least here in the west, yesterday. At the horizon to the west you can definitely see signs of different weather not too far away from here. And the runners are celebrating. Right, let's see. Our next airplanes are approaching. I think United Airlines will be first with a 777 arriving from San Francisco. I'm already looking a bit to my left to see if maybe I can catch a glimpse of it. It should be somewhere over there. Maybe even a bit further out. Usually looking around the radio tower over there is a good initial point of reference. Probably still a bit to the left, but I'm not sure. On paper, we ought to be able to see it, if only we know where exactly we need to look. Now, also looking further left, because there's also an airplane flying downwind KLM flight 598 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. Good morning, Stefan. And good morning, Danny. Yeah, that 777 is also remarkably hard to see, even though on paper I should be able to see it quite easily. I am able to see the 777 from United by now. That is flying right there. Should become the first airplane to arrive here. From the other side, a Lufty A320 is arriving. Flight 988. Keep looking to my left to see if I can spot that triple, but I'm unable to see it. You'd think it's KLM, it's a 777, you're looking at it from the side, it should be quite obvious to see. It's more difficult than you think it is. Hey, Bas is also back in the chat. Good to see you, Bas. And thank you for the ongoing support. 3 months of membership, 3 months. Keep the excellent streams coming. I'll do my best, mate. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. And do let me know when something is no longer to your liking. Let me see what I can do then to fix it. 01 Mike D is also back in the chat. Good morning. And welcome to the show, everybody else. This is United Airlines flight 968 arriving from San Francisco. 777-200ER. And somewhere behind it, there should be an A320 from Lufthansa turning in, arriving from Frankfurt. The 777 flew over Nigel only 30 minutes ago, followed by a Lufty Jumbo. Well, that probably has already passed by us then, or well, probably further to the south then. Now, there's the Lufty that I was talking about, the A320 arriving from Frankfurt. And the next airplane after that is going to be the KLM 777 that I wasn't able to see. Flight 598 arriving from Cape Town. It's going to be triples galore. The only anomaly is the A320. Otherwise, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 back-to-back wide bodies. The 777 arriving from Cape Town should become the third airplane and should be turning in from the left. And there's a Chinese A330 also flying base, which should be turning in at some point from the right. To what extent we can see them all in one shot remains to be seen. I think they're probably still further away than it looks on flight radar. Good morning, South Island Aviation. Dino in the tube also back. Good morning, mate. And welcome to the show, everybody else who have joined. So I'm still waiting for the 2 other wide bodies to become visible. I'm hoping they will. Yeah, on the far left and below the number 1. You can see them both. You can also see how the exhaust gases from the United triple were blurring the A330 in the background. 4 airplane glide slope shot. There it is. 3 wide bodies, and the top airplane, which is now number 2, is an A320. Absolutely lovely shot. Let's focus on what we can see land here first. United Airlines flight 968 arrived from San Francisco, 9 hours and 42 minutes to flight time, November 78008. 26-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in February of the year 1999. It's a millennial. It already began flying when we were still worrying about the millennial bug and whether everything would go to shit with computers come the year 2000. Luckily it didn't. Next up will be KLM, Lufthansa flight 988 arriving from Frankfurt. 45 minutes to flight time. Delta Alpha India Zulu Charlie. And you can see the two wide bodies behind it. KLM flight 598 up first and Air China Cargo flight 3159 next after that. Flight time for the A320 arriving from Frankfurt is 45 minutes. 15-year-old airplane, first flight January 2010. Hey, Paul is also back in the chat. Good to see you, Paul. MPH Jet is too. Good morning. Another 4 airplane glide slope shot. The 4th airplane is KLM flight 644 arriving from New York JFK. Another 777-200. So 3 back-to-back wide bodies after this A320. Huh? Captain Jerry, do you have a second account or do you have a stunt double going by the same name? That is interesting. And 01 Mike D is celebrating his 4-month membership anniversary. Thank you, Captain Jerry Donnelly and AMS Live. He writes, thank you for the ongoing support, mate. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. Upwards and onwards. Right, let's quickly turn around. KLM flight 598, arrived from Cape Town, South Africa. 777-200 and a beautiful linear 3 airplane glide slope shot consisting of wide bodies exclusively. 2 777-200s and in the middle sandwiched is an A330-200 Air China Cargo. Blackburst, goedemorgen. So this is KLM flight 598 arriving from Cape Town, South 11 hours and 4 minutes on the way. It's the Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec Foxtrot. 21-year-old airplane, first flight March 2004. Morgen.
Morgen. Hij kijkt altijd vanuit Wales mee.
Oh, vanuit Wales?
Subscriber as well.
You're kidding.
Yeah, a subscriber. Yeah, watch you every morning.
What's your name?
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah.
Bill from Wales. Let me finish filming this landing and then let me shake your hand. Welcome to the Polderbaan, lads. Nice to meet you. Jouw naam is? Johan. Johan en Bill uit Nederland en Wales, respectively. Well, nice to meet you, lads. Ja, New York is nu nummer 2. Ja, Air China Cargo number 1 and KLM flight 644 is now number 2. And after that, 2 weeks ago, still on board. Nice. Reina, good morning. Tuning in from Texas, good morning. Welcome back. Is that an imposter? Do we have a fake Captain Jerry? Anyway, next airplane arriving from Chengdu in China is Air China Cargo Flight 3159, 10 hours and 45 minutes the flight time. The Bravo 6093. 17-year-old airplane. Hey, fijne dag jongens, cheers! Alrighty. Two lads I was speaking with just now. On the right, Bill from Wales, and on the left, Johan, who is Dutch. And Johan, the guy on the left, was on this flight 2 weeks ago. He mentioned KLM Flight 644, arrival from New York, JFK. 6 hours and a minute on the way, 777-200 the PH BQP, Bravo Quebec, Papa. And it seems that we have crossed through 300 likes. Thank you all so much for that. If you are enjoying what you're seeing and you want to help this channel for free, liking and subscribing will promote this channel's content to new viewers who might also want to join us later if they only knew of our existence. In the meantime, thank you all so much for the support thus far. This is KLM Flight 644, 6 hours and 2 minutes on the way. 777-200 18 years old already. First flight April 2007. Wow. So if you're from 2007, you're already 18 years old. Typical KLM style landing, keeping up the speed so that they can vacate late and be sooner to the gate. Idle reverse landing. You can see they're still perfecting the dike, or at least their reinforcement, which you can see quite clearly over here. You can see these are these long poles, 3 meter long, I think, probably, driven into the ground almost completely. This is the wind on the scale of chimney smoke. And yeah, it was mentioned in the weather forecast that later in the day we are going to see some precipitation. It should arrive from the west, now looking to the west, southwest, northwest. All still seems to be clear. We're not expecting any rain here anytime soon. Definitely not in the morning hours. 18 years old, so she is legal now, Gratje, indeed, absolutely. Captain Jerry has a split AMS Live personality. Well, you wouldn't be the first. I know that Gratje also has a split AMS Live personality, both as Roadhog and the Modfather. This is Air France Flight 1444, Bombardier C-Series 300 A220, arrival from Paris. It has geared turbofan engines, and the next airplane after this has not exactly the same, but definitely related engines. The E2 Embraer 195. If you hear the Wookiee howl, it's either this airplane type or the E2 coming next. Michael, goedemorgen, and good morning to everybody else who joined. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, and if you joined us only just now, you may have missed the arrival of the Cathay Pacific 747-8 already. There is another 747 underway, so if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. Around noon, The second 747 of today's show should land here. Arriving from Miami, Florida, cargo locks is on the way. And last time we checked, it was expected shortly after noon. Shortly after 1, the A380 from Emirates is expected. Unfortunately, Retro Transavia will only arrive later in the afternoon, probably more towards dinner time. There are 2 more 747s on the way, also expected for later in the afternoon. Orange Pride is here at Schiphol and is expected to fly out tonight. And Martin is celebrating his 1 month membership. Happy month day, he writes. Happy month day to you too, Martin. Upwards and onwards. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. Talking about split personalities, there is Gretje with his alter ego, the Maatvader. Kenny, good morning. And welcome to the show, everybody else. Our next airplane is also arriving from South Africa, but from Johannesburg. It's KLM Flight 592. 10 hours and 13 minutes on the way. It is another 777-200ER. It's the Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec Delta. And in the background you can see an airplane that is turning in. And that is ITA Airways. And that's the third airplane. The second airplane is right above it. The second airplane is Bulgaria Air, I think. Yeah, Bulgaria Air arriving from Sofia. First 777, then Bulgaria Air. Yeah, that's a KLM style landing. Idle reverse. Rolling out. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Control spotted, coming this way. It is a twin jet though. It's probably on their way to the United States or to Canada from either Frankfurt, which is the most likely origin, or maybe Munich. But most of the time it is Frankfurt. Yellard says that the Bulgaria Air that we are going to see in a moment is coming to pick up the football selection of Levski Sofia that apparently played against AZ yesterday. AZ is the football team of the northern city of Alkmaar, above which we sometimes see the Beluga. Bulgaria Air arrived from Sofia, 2 hours and 23 minutes on the way, flight 1913. The LZPAR, Papa Alpha Romeo. The airplane is a year old. Its first flight was in October 2023. Did they even open the reverser slots, or is this a no reverser landing? now that I'm seeing that they're closed, I'm wondering, have they been closed all the time, or did they close early? Anyway, too late now for me to know the answer, unless you watch the replay, which you guys can, but I unfortunately cannot. Time for another Bombardier C-Series 100. ETA Airways, the first ETA of today's show, arriving from Milan, flight 120. It's Italian registered. The registration starts with India. India Alpha Delta Victor Golf. Flight time 1 hour and 21 minutes. Brand new airplane. Its first flight was in March 2025. Nice to see that everybody is finding the emoji for ETA. Next up, we are going to get A320neos. An A320neo followed by an A321neo. Hey Ilona, goedemorgen. And good morning to all others who may have joined in the meantime. Still watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, and we are here at the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Primary runway for arrivals, although in 17 or so minutes from now, probably a bit sooner already, parallel arrivals are going to commence. It's usually 40 minutes of parallel arrivals. That twin jet is now passing immediately overhead, so let's have a quick look at its contrail. Need to twist and turn a bit further. Thought it was Ilona or somebody else who already mentioned that this was Air Canada. Not a very sizable contrail, as you can see. Okay, Malta in the meantime just now landed here. The A320neo. In the meantime, the excavator and the guy who is wading through the water is also coming this way. You can see that around the edges the canal is not very deep, only knee high. Not knee how, but knee high. Star Alliance livery, there you go. Michael, goedemorgen. Christophe, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody else who have joined. A321neo, then an Embraer 190, and then another A321neo, and after that it is time for Air Canada with a Dreamliner. First up, KLM flight 1002, arriving from London Heathrow. London, yes London.
You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins, London.
And good morning, David, who's tuning in from the UK. Heavy rain here this morning, but different to what you have. Bit different. Well, for the time being. Yesterday morning we also had torrential rain here in the west and also in the afternoon. Only in the second half of the afternoon did we get to see the sun again. Quite a radical change. During the heavy rain I was out to the barber shop, and when I was driving back, several hundred meters of cycling path was completely flooded with water. So much rain in such a short time had fallen that the sewage wasn't able to process it. So for hundreds of meters, the cycling paths were basically small rivers. We are expecting more rain here again later today. These are definitely the best hours of today's day. Fed by Dutch, good morning. This is KLM in the SkyTeam livery. Flight 980 arriving from London City. 39 minutes to flight time. And Marcus is celebrating a 2-month membership anniversary. 2 months already. Love these streams, he writes. Marcus, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you for the ongoing support. If anything in the lounge is no longer to your liking, let me know and let me see what I can do to fix it. Yeah, so they're ditching additional sand so that the boards are pretty solid. Yep. Making sure that everything is going to stay in place. Christophe, goedemorgen. Daniel, goedemorgen. A340 on the move, Maria says. Departing from Kaagbaan shortly. Thanks for the heads up, Maria. If you would be so kind to keep me posted as to when it is first to take off, I'll turn around the camera. Not sure if there are cheaters in Cheaters Lane over there. That might go ahead. Martijn, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, mate. Transavia, flight 6820. This is an A321neo arriving from Ljubljana in Slovenia. 1 hour and 24 minutes to flight time. Papa Hotel, Yankee Hotel, X-ray. New airplane, but no carry-on cabin. We need to see the manager about this. This is unacceptable. I'm pretty sure that Canadians have their shit better in order. This is Air Canada Flight 808, arriving from Toronto, Canada. With a registration that does not have any Quebecs in it. That's strange. If I had an airline and I were Canadian, then I definitely would have at least one Q in all of my airplane's registrations. Gotta have Quebec if you're a Canadian, right? Air Canada Flight 808, the Charlie Golf Hotel Papa uniform. So we do have Papa in a uniform, but other than that, no Quebecs, no nothing. Hey Karsten! Herzlich willkommen, guten Morgen. Flight time 6 hours and 29 minutes from Toronto to Amsterdam. 11-year-old airplane, first flight July 2014. Now there's flex in the wings. Boom. As soon as the spoilers come up, the wings flatten. They're still upright, but no longer as curved as they were before. Fatback Dutch, what are you doing, mate? Thank you so much for your generosity. A generous super chat. Have a vodka after the show. Thanks, boy. He writes, I will definitely do that, mate. Thank you so much for your kind words and for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, but you did it anyway. Many thanks indeed. Thank you so much, Fatback Dutch. Right. They're double checking. I'm hoping that once everything has been double checked, that also this additional pile of sand will get taken away. I did try to see if I were to set up closer to the water where I usually would stand, what that would look like, but it's I think half a meter or so lower than where I am standing right here. The grass is slanting downward, and you definitely are standing lower there, and that those piles of sand are going to be in your way then. Even at 180 my height, I still struggle to look over them when I am standing right next to the water, so they will have to get rid of them in order for me to be able to return to the location closer to the water where we can normally also see aquatic life. Though, since they've been working here and there's so much activity right next to the canal, I haven't seen a lot of birds here in a while. A340 rolling. Let's turn around. Thanks for the heads up, Maria. We're pointing the camera in the direction of runway 24, from which the A340 from Suriname is now taking off as we speak. Danny, goedemorgen. Linda, goedemorgen. Mark, goedemorgen. Good morning. Hey, that's interesting information, Ronald. The NOTAM says until the 19th they are working here. That's interesting information. I know the pilot Sachtler reached out to Omgevingsinfo Schiphol or Bezoek Bas not too long ago, and they still weren't sure about the duration. So if the NOTAM now says September 19th, that's at least something. There she is, the Dows, the A340-600, operated by USC, flying on behalf of Suriname, on its way to Paramaribo. What a climb rate. Yeah, and this is where the tree is going to get mostly in the way. Just a small leather box. Yeah, and it's gone. JP says that the Dolphin Airbus will be flying over North Holland to Bremen. If you guys could keep me posted when it is in the vicinity of the coastline, because the sky to the north is crystal clear and it should be easily spotted once it is close by enough. I can probably already see it before it hits the coastline. There's also a small, very vague contrail that I am trying to find. Yeah, no, the airplane no longer is producing a contrail. I think it was a quad-engined airplane that passed by just now, but there you go, too far away now. You can see parallel arrivals have begun. It is almost 11 o'clock, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. Yashir, good morning. Marcelo, good morning. The first airplane to the center runway is going to be KLM flight 1796 from Düsseldorf to Amsterdam. Kort.
Als ik je hebt de website van het bewonersmeldpunt.
Ja.
Ze moeten de armaturen van de verlichting schoonmaken.
Oké. En van hoe laat tot hoe laat is dat?
Van 11:30 tot 1.
11:30 tot 1?
Dat zag ik op die website.
Half uurtje?
Nee, 11:30 tot 1. Anderhalf.
11:30 tot anderhalf? Oké.
Dus ik ga het eens een keer proberen boven op P3.
Ja, moet je doen. Dat is een goede plek. Dat is een goede plek, P3. Absoluut. Nou, ik hoop dat het wat wordt dan.
Ja, fijne dag.
Hey, dankjewel jongens. See you later. Okay, so apparently at 11:30 they are going to close the Polderbaan until 1 for cleaning the armatures of the landing lights, is what I was told just now. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, Chris Porter, mate, coming in with a massive bang. Good day, mate. Have a couple of coffees on me. Cheers. I will definitely do that, mate. Thank you so much for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, mate. I will happily take a few coffees on you. Absolutely. Never enough coffee. But that is not good news if they are going to close the Polderbaan to clean those lights for 1.5 hours from 11:30 until 1 is what I just heard. Apparently on Bezoekbus it is mentioned. Obviously that information was not yet known this morning. This is KLM Flight 696 arriving from Toronto, Canada. 777-200 PHB QB, Bravo Quebec, Bravo. Bevroren patat, goedemorgen. Alec, good morning. Right, let's have a quick look then at what we are going to expect. That means the 747 is not going to land here, if that's going to come true. Let's have a look. Bezoekbus, opening up. Here we are. And yeah. 1 asterisk, 2 asterisks. Cleaning the armatures. Oh, Kagbaan, huh? Okay. Landing on Polderbaan from 11 until 11:40, and then after completion, 12:30 until 1. Landing on the Polderbaan, huh? 12:30 they are starting with the Polder, huh? Let's see. Here it says landing on the Polderbaan, landing on center. It starts from there. Okay, from 11:40 until 1. 2 asterisks. After completion of the short maintenance to the Polderbaan, they'll... okay. So it looks like they are going to close the Polderbaan, but only for a brief period of time, because here it already mentioned, they are already mentioning that they are going to resume landings on at around 12:30. So if I have to interpret this, I would say that from 11:40 until 12:30, so that's 15 minutes or so, they are going to close the Polderbaan temporarily. Right. Well, let's see. Not much we can do about it. Lance is also back in the chat. Good to see you. Tommy, good morning. Tommy is tuning in all the way from Miami, Florida. Aviation Intelligent, good morning. Right. Let's see. Air Arabia Morocco Flight 127 arriving from Tangier in Morocco, which is in the north of Africa. 2 hours and 47 minutes on the way. The CNNMR, that's November Mike Romeo. And interestingly, Delta Airlines Flight 162 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota is going to land on the runway. So that is interesting. We've seen that happen before, a week ago. And it looks, from judging the inputs of the pilot flying, that the wind is causing the work. A few more corrections. Adios, goedemorgen. Mark, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. So, yeah, apparently they're going to close the Polderbaan for 50 or so minutes from 11:40 until 12:30. And this airplane is going to the wrong runway.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
JP is mentioning that the Beluga is passing in the vicinity of Alkmaar, and I can see it. Even though it isn't producing a contrail, it is very clearly visible over there. There's also a twin jet passing overhead. I was looking up. And then I lost the Beluga. I'm wondering if maybe image stabilizer would help. Bit of wind shudder. I've enabled dynamic image stabilizer. Yeah, no, the wind shudder is not mitigated by it, at least not this time. Right. Let's quickly disable image stabilizer again. Right. Well, the excavator is moving, of course. It was behind me initially. Now it's moving in front of us, and at the moment a little bit in the way. They are moving further to the north, slowly but surely, luckily. So it is only going to be a temporary thing. Uit de veerboot, goedemorgen. Jean, good morning. Hans, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're here at the Polderbaan, which apparently we learned just now is going to close for 15 minutes from 11:40 until 12:30 approximately. Short maintenance necessary apparently. The Cathay Pacific 747 has already landed. There is another 747 underway, but if the runway use will be what they are now expecting, Cargo Lux is going to land on the center runway. Ordinarily it would have landed on this runway, on the Polderbaan. At 12 o'clock there's usually only one runway open for arrivals. Ordinarily that would have been this runway, with the exception of this small period of time has to do with maintenance. The Emirates A380 is expected shortly after 1 o'clock. Our next airplane is for the members. It's a Red One. And you still have a chance to use that custom emoji. Somewhere in October, this flight will stop coming to Amsterdam. Play flight 460, arriving from Reykjavik, Iceland, 2 hours and 41 minutes on the way. It's the TFPPF Papa Foxtrot. John Dutch Canadian is also in the chat, and he is celebrating 10 months of membership. 10 great months, he writes. John, thank you so much for your support thus far. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. If not, let me know. Let me see what I can do to fix that problem then. 10 months, upward and onwards. Thank you so much. Hope you're going to stick around for many more months to come. If not as a member, then at least as a regular, frequent visitor. And indeed, make the chat red. Dustin, good morning. Liam, good morning. Others who have joined, good morning. Playtime game over. That's a little premature, Peter K. But yeah, you are right. In the end, the game is going to end at some point. Airplane after play is Iberia. Iberia Express, but operated by Iberia, flight 731. This play A320neo has been flying for 2 hours and 42 minutes to get here, and it is 2 years old already. The first flight was in March 2023. Hey, and Dustin just became a member again. Welcome back to the Aurora Skylines, Dustin. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Make sure you use those playtime emojis now that you can. I see that a bizjet is coming my way. Should be passing overhead. I'm looking left of me to see if I can recognize it already, but that's not the case, unfortunately. Well, I say recognize, but if I can see it already. Really annoying if you know that there is an airplane overhead that you should be able to see, but you're unable to find it. In the meantime, Leroy, thank you so much for your generosity as well. 19 months a member, and he is celebrating with the playtime emojis. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking, Leroy. Do let me know if something is no longer to your liking. Let me see what I can do to fix it. Ah, there's the bastard. Bit further. Well. Yeah, no, it's doing an Air Icarus. It's really close to the sun. Makes it really hard to see. So this is Iberia. Iberia flight 731 operated by Iberia. Well, no, Iberia Express operated by Iberia. This is. Using the reversers. And Brandon is wondering, why do most of them use idle reverse? It's to reduce wear. It makes less noise. It uses less fuel. And it wears down the engine less. If the runway is long enough, and if there's no immediate traffic behind the airplanes so that they have to make haste and maybe take an early left to vacate, they usually just roll out. Less wear on the brakes, on the engines, less noise for the people living around Schiphol, less fuel consumption. Thank you, Brandon, for your ongoing support. 3 months a member. Hope everything in the lounge is to your liking as well still. If not, let me know. Let me see what I can do to fix it. Chinese triple on the runway, flying parallel to this E2 Embraer 195, arriving from Brussels, flight 1704. Hey there, Dietmar. Guten Morgen. And Paul, good morning. The excavator is not standing still, it is moving further north, so it's going to continue moving further north. It wasn't there to begin with. It started out being further south of me, to the right. They're finishing up the work here. And this is of course a Chinese triple going to the runway. At At the easterly horizon you can see some clouds as well. Land inward, further land inward, more clouds are forming. Over here in the west, most of the sky is still blue. And there's the triple landing. Next up is going to be Transavia flight 5132, which is over there. It's a 737-800, 1 hour and 48 minutes to flight time. Andy G is also back. Good to see you, Andy. Welcome back. Hope you've been well. Transavia flight 5132 arriving from Barcelona. The Papa Hotel Zulu Victor. 23-year-old airplane. First flight June 2002. Big picture wise, this is what it looks like to the north. This is what things look like to the west. You can see some friendly clouds that are forming. Looking to the east, you can see mostly blue sky, except at the horizon where you do see more cloudiness. This is looking to the south, you can see mostly cirrus clouds, although also some lower clouds. The wind is coming from the south. This is where we need to look to see what's coming our way, which isn't a lot at the moment, although we do expect some rain later this afternoon. Michael is back. Wonders if he missed any CRJs. The answer to that is no. We haven't seen a single CRJ in this show yet. Transavia landing here, 737-800. This is a KLM 737-900 arriving from Vienna. KLM flight 1902. 1 hour and 28 minutes on the way. The Papa Hotel, Bravo, X-Ray, Sierra. Which is 23 years old already. Its first flight was in October 2001. Just a month after September 11th, this started flying. It began its career. And the police are patrolling here. In the BMW. Next airplane coming this way is Air Arabia Morocco flight 121. Arriving from Nador, which is in Morocco, which is in the north of. And to that I drink. So apparently there's some maintenance to be done later in the morning, and according to the website that indicates the expected runway use, come 11:40 the Polderbaan is going to close for 50 minutes until approximately 12:30, making the center runway the primary runway for inbound traffic for 50 minutes. And Veronique, goedemorgen, says, I've been watching for a couple of months, but I wanted to say I enjoy your live streams. Well, thank you, Veronique, for letting me know. I'm glad to hear that you are enjoying the streams, and I hope that goes for everybody. Nice of you to say hi in the chat. If you are new or older to the channel, but you haven't said hi yet, it's not mandatory, but it is always appreciated. Feel free to do so. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Many people are watching. and combined they know a lot. If you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already, if you want to support the channel for free. Sparta Rotterdam, goedemorgen. Lars, goedemorgen, good morning. Erik, goedemorgen. Two airplanes visible on the glide slope. We have KLM flight 1042 here in the foreground, that's a 737-900. And Transavia with a 737-800 behind it. The Ecstasy Express arriving from Ibiza. After that, turning in is another 737-800 arriving from Glasgow, KLM flight 936. So that's 3 consecutive 737s that we are going to see. After that, it's time for an Embraer 175. So, if you're a fan of narrow bodies, don't go anywhere. This is happy hour for you. The closure of the Polderbaan that I mentioned just now happens to coincide with the arrival of the next 747, the second of the show, and also the last for today's show. So that is unfortunately looking to go to the wrong runway, even though it is arriving from Miami and normally speaking would have landed here. I thought I saw in the chat somebody mentioning that the ETA of the Emirates A380 at the moment is around 103. And that also still makes it a candidate for the center runway. Would be rather disappointing if they all went to the wrong way. But there you go, such is life. There's always something. If it's not suboptimal visibility, then it is maintenance and temporary closures. Now, since the weather was so shit yesterday and I wasn't able to do a stream yesterday, I took the day off, which normally I would have done on Monday. So, weather permitting, I am looking to do an additional stream on Monday again. Just like how I did last week. It's all weather dependent, of course. They still are predicting rain in all the upcoming days, depending on when it's going to fall and how long it's going to take before it's getting dry again, and how long it's going to stay dry for then. I am aiming to do streams. Might also be later in the day then. If it rains in the morning and it's probably dry in the afternoon, you can also expect a stream in the afternoon from yours truly. We are going into that time of year again where you need more flexibility with the streaming hours, because it's not always going to be dry in the morning, but it will sometimes rain in the morning and then be dry in the afternoon. Indigo is expected in 9 minutes, Peter is indicating. We'll keep our eyes out for it. Narrow bodies for the time being. 737 here. And next, two parallel Embraer 175s to both runways, and Embraer 175 flying parallel to one another. First up, Air Oink Oink. Air Oink Oink. Arriving from Istanbul. A321neo. Hey, top of the morning, Senor Rodriguez. Good to see you again, Evan. Watch out for the G. I thought the G already landed. I think the G has already arrived. Alan also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Olaf also back. Good to see you, Olaf. Hope all is well. with all of you. Air oink oink. Pegasus flight 1251 arriving from Istanbul. Next up, KLM flight 936 arriving from Glasgow. And a bizjet passing overhead. Can I spot it? Come on. Come on. God damn it. It's so hard to find those airplanes when they're really close by. They're moving quickly and they're not producing a contrail. I can see them visually, but then trying to get your camera pointed in the right direction is a bit of a chore. You really ought to have one of those guide scopes, just like on telescopes, that if you point to the moon and you look through the telescope, you actually are aimed at the moon. Happy New Year! Bird Control is setting off fireworks to celebrate the beginning of a new year, apparently. And thank you all so much for the 400 likes that we have crossed by now, it seems. If you are enjoying the show and you haven't done so already, maybe consider adding to the likes if you want to help this channel for free and help us reach a wider audience. Is this an A340? Or is it a 747? If I now had to call it, I would say it's an A340, but it might also be a 747. Let's see that again. Now the wing shape is becoming more angular. Might also be a 747. That's just me speculating based on what I can see here on a very small screen with reflections. No, definitely looks more like an A340 to me. The dark tail end seems to indicate it is a Lufty. Yeah, the angle of the leading edge. This is an A340, right? It has to be. Yeah, A340, there you go. Jeff was also back in the chat. Good to see you, Jeff. Well, let's indulge a bit more. It's going to turn around, and once we have the sun in our back, the contrast increases and gets better. This is the highest my camera can point, so I need to wait a little before I can start filming this airplane. It's entering the field of view. We can gradually zoom in, and there you go. What a world of difference in terms of contrast when you have the sun in your back, or if the airplane is in the same quadrant of the sky as the sun is. So much more contrast, so much easier to see what it is, but it makes it more fun to try to guess when it's still further away. Now, looking to the southwest, you can see there are clouds forming, and that's drifting in. Dodo is also on the move. He passed me by just now and beeped. In the meantime, United Flight 909 assigned to the runway. I'm wondering, have they stopped sending airplanes to the Polderbaan? Not yet, not yet. It is 11:25, so it won't be too long before they will stop sending the airplanes to the Polderbaan. For those of you joining us later, bezoek Bas The website that indicates the expected runway use was mentioning that there needs to be some repairs done, and from 11:40 until 12:30 expectedly the runway is going to close temporarily, making the center runway the only runway open for arrivals for 50 minutes. W is also back in the chat, good to see you. And it was the A340 Frankfurt to Dallas. Thank you, Jan. Parallel arrivals still in progress. Embraer Fest to both runways. Embraer 190 arriving from Luxembourg here in the foreground. Flying parallel to it is an Embraer 190 arriving from Frankfurt. The airplane that you see in the left, on the left, is an Embraer 175 arriving from Norwich. Indigo will fly to the center runway and is now 3rd or 4th. Right, so this is KLM flight 1710. It's an Embraer 190 arriving from Luxembourg. 41 minutes to flight time. Nominal duration. Wind is definitely picking up a little. Windmills in the background, with the exception of that one on the left. No, two. Two aren't spinning. Wonder why that is. There's the Indigo Dreamliner arriving from Mumbai. Going to the center runway. The gear hatches opening, the gear is going to extend. Yep. After that the hatches will close again. There you go. That's one extended gear. Now, in approximately half an hour from now, there is a 747 going to land here on Schiphol Airport. Cargo Lux, arriving from Miami, Florida. Normally speaking, it would land on Polderbaan, given that it's normally the only runway open when winds are blowing from the south, and it is noon. Today is the exception to the rule. Obviously, we can still see it. It's not the same as when it lands on your quote-unquote runway. But we will be able to see the same as we can of the Indigo Dreamliner over here. Definitely a bit more windy. Lovely cloudy backdrop against which the Indigo Dreamliner is arriving. Flight time 8 hours and a minute. Hey there Kevin and Martin, good morning. Welcome both. 8 hours on the way from Mumbai to Amsterdam. This Indigo Dreamliner, 7879 Dreamliner, flight 21. Lima November, Foxtrot November Charlie. 7-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in May 2018. E2 Embraer landing here. Spacious Karen cabin in the back. No need to complain about this to the manager. Next airplane coming this way is a 737 arriving from Edinburgh.
Bruh.
Let me quickly refresh the METAR page and also have a look at the visualization of the weather. The METAR in the ticker updates automatically. For those of you who are interested in the visuals, this is what it currently looks like. 12 knots of wind. Yeah, temperature is 20 degrees. The wind is still blowing from the south. It's no longer cavalcade, but we have few clouds. Not much to write home about. The only thing that we want to write home about is why the runway is going to be closed in a few moments. And why not do that at night or something? It's a bit of a letdown. KLM2 comes equipped with Karen cabins. Hey, good morning, Gregory. And Mark H is also back, tuning in from Hong Kong. Welcome back, mate. So pretty soon they are going to close the Polderbaan temporarily. It is expected to happen around 11:40 and then until approximately 12:30. Now, luckily, that's a duration that is still overseeable. It's not too long, but still a bummer, because there is a cargo lux 747 underway from Miami, which is expected, or at least last time we checked it was expected around noon, which normally would have landed here on the Polderbaan, but now is going to land on the runway. Just like this Qatar 777 arrival from Doha is. This is Qatar flight 8201. 777 freighter, 5 hours and 53 minutes on the way. The Alpha 7 Bravo Foxtrot Juliet. The airplane is 9 years old, first flight June 2016. Big picture overview, you can definitely see more low clouds are forming. They're forming more or less everywhere. Not so much in the north, but definitely further land inwards. And also looking to the southwest. It's more cloudy to the southwest than it is currently looking to the east. The south and north are relatively open, most open. Although there's also a big cirrus cloud here. Nice combination of low clouds, those are more fluffy, and those high cirrus clouds that are more streaky and thin. Wind is definitely beginning to pick up a bit. What I am going to do is re-enable image stabilizer. KLM Embraer 190 is arriving, flight 1944. It's German Airways flying on behalf of KLM, the DAG MP. 1 hour and 5 minutes on the way from Basel in Switzerland. The airplane is 16 years old. Its first flight was in 2009 somewhere. Month not specified on flight radar. It's 2 parallel Embraer 190s to both runways open, and after that 2 parallel Embraer 175s. Is there a message for us? The answer is no, unfortunately not. Still the old tail. And welcome to the show, Paul, who says we had quite a lot of rain here in London a couple of hours ago. I think it's slowly moving in your direction. That might be so. It was expected here that later in the afternoon we are going to get precipitation as well. These are actually the best hours of today's day, weather-wise, I mean. I think the TAF wasn't expecting any increased chance of precipitation before 1 o'clock. I thought it was between 1 and 2 or something. Yeah, and whether or not I'll be able to stream on the during the upcoming days also remains to be seen. Yesterday we had showers in the morning and in the afternoon, and they only finished so late that I didn't feel like going out anymore. Today already is in the pocket, but we'll see. There's usually a few hours on each day, even when it is a rainy day, where it's going to stay dry long enough to be able to do a stream. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's also a Formula One race taking place here in the Netherlands this weekend. Alright, now it's almost 11:40, and looking at KLM flight 604, I think we just now saw the last airplane landing on the Polderbaan for the time being. DB Basement, good afternoon. Well, morning, I should say, more appropriately. So there is a 787-10 arriving from LAX. It's continuing to the runway. I'm pretty sure that's also what's going to happen with the 777 arriving from Vancouver, which is now flying base. Hopefully they'll finish the works that they need to do quickly, so that they reopen the runway more quickly. So for the time being, all traffic is going to the runway. KLM flight 604 arriving from LAX, the gear is extending. 787-10. If you're wondering why are all the airplanes going to the center runway all of a sudden, it's because of maintenance to the Polderbaan. If all is well, things should resume again as normal around 12:30, so 50 minutes. Hopefully, obviously a bit sooner than that, but the expectation was around 12:30. Yeah, and this airplane is going to the runway.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Right, well, Leroy says 747 above you. I'm looking up. I'm not seeing a control or anything. Nor am I hearing anything. Next airplane is Air Baltic Flight 617, arriving from Riga. The airplane after that is going to be KLM Flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. That is a 777-300ER. This is Air Baltic Flight 617, arriving from Riga, 1 hour and 56 minutes on the way. The Yankee Lima Alpha Bravo Papa. An hour and 56 minutes underway. Two-year-old airplane, first flight May 2023. This is KLM Flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. 8 hours and 35 minutes on the way. 777-300ER. The PHBVP, Bravo Victor Papa. Wind is actually picking up pretty noticeably. Wondering. Let's have a look behind the laptop. The meter is updating 170, 12 knots only. Surely it is more than that. Pretty sure it's more windy than 12 knots right now. Right. What else is in the pipeline? It's Embraer 190, Embraer 190, Embraer 175, Boeing 737-800, and a twin jet contrail over there. Let's see, that is most definitely Lufty. Lufty passing a bit north of me, from east to west. Well, I say east to west, southeast to northwest. Hey there, Gilberto. Good to see ya. Welcome to the show, mate. If you joined us only just now and you're wondering why is the Polderbaan closed, it has to do with maintenance. Short maintenance. After 50 minutes or so, the runway should be open again, which means that around 12:30, if all is well, the Polderbaan should reopen. Now, the timing of this is all very unfortunate, even though it is a short duration. It's right when there's a 747 expected, which is expected pretty soon. Last time we checked, it was arriving around noon. Means for the time being we have to make do with what we see going in to center. Right, the other Embraer. This is another Embraer 190. KLM flight 912, arriving from Aberdeen. Gary in Amsterdam is also back. Mike Wild as well. Good to see you both. Hope all is well. Now obviously this is the Herpa Derpa Derpa. Going viral with Itchy and Scratchy for 75 years now. Arriving from Aberdeen, KLM flight 912. Well, at the moment the sun is gone. Clouds are definitely densing up here. You can definitely see that this is no longer just a slight cirrus cloud. It's a bit more than that. Looking around, we can see, looking to the east, more cloudiness, mostly low clouds. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the southwest, where initially it was more cloudy. Now it seems to be more open again, and looking to the west directly, this is what it currently looks like. The wind is firmly blowing from the south, and you can also see that in the size of the waves and the scale of chimney smoke. The north is currently looking like so. But right now over here the sun is temporarily fully obscured by a cloud that is drifting in. This is KLM flight 1498. Another Embraer. And after that we are going to see Transavia with a 737-800. Jeff says puffball clouds, scientific term. Yeah, it certainly sounds very scientific, puffball cloud. Cargolux ETA 1212, 1220 is what Mario says. Hopefully the Polderbaan is going to open up a bit sooner than 12:30. Dodo asks, how are the likes doing? Getting closer to a dance? Well, undoubtedly getting closer to a dance, but not today. 450 likes, that's 45%. No airplane dance anytime soon. I'm telling you, the momentum is gone. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you weren't even liking because you don't want to see an airplane dance. I think it might even be counterproductive. Either way, doesn't matter. Oh, I'm hoping that the runway will open up again before 12:30. The Cargolux is running late. Now this is UB Airlines, no, UR Airlines, operated by BH Air, arriving from Erbil in Iraq. Flight time 4 hours and 52 minutes, that seems a tad short. Did they have headwind, tailwind, or did they fly a different route? Or is that the average flight duration? Not sure. I'm wondering if we are able to see anything of the maintenance that takes place. Was it something to do with the lights, or was that the Kaagbaan? I think it was the Kaagbaan, wasn't it? What does Bezoek Bas say? There was brief maintenance. It wasn't specified. I think the approach lights had to do with the Kaagbaan. No, I thought I was seeing something over there, but that's just reflections in the windows. Are they doing something over there? Because there are more vehicles over there than normal. I'm wondering if that's where they're doing stuff right now. Hey there, A380. Guten Morgen. And welcome to the show, everybody. So yeah, if all is well, the sun will reappear again. I think once this bit of cloud has drifted by, the sun is going to shine again for a long time. More Embraers. This is an Embraer 190. And we're going to see an Embraer 175 next after this. It's the same Embraer fest as we normally would have seen, except now we see the airplanes at a bit more of a distance. Lovely cloudy backdrop against which they fly in. And there is a tractor coming this way. Is that a Fendt? I think it might be. No, it's red. Must be a Massey Ferguson. It is. It is. It was. Well, turning around too far since there's nothing at the Polderbaan flight glide slope. In the meantime, Alan, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. Alan, aka Big Al, just now gifting a membership, and the recipient is Lance D80L. Lance D, probably from Atlanta, the recipient of the gifted membership. Don't forget to say thank you to Alan and have fun with the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal. A month of custom emojis, so spam us to death with them. Hey there, Wilma. Good to see ya. Good afternoon. Dodo says, heard ground check from the tower. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean they are going to open up the runway sometime soon? Obviously, you guys can look at omgevingsinfo and see if you can spot airplanes approaching that have been assigned to the Polderbaan already again. Hey there, John. Hey there, Dudogs. Cargo looks assigned to center. That's not what I wanted to hear, Maria. Yeah, no. That was to be expected, unfortunately. Unless it picks up another 10 plus minutes of delay. But it's already too late for that. It's already assigned the center runway, so it's already close by. Probably 40 minutes. That's also not what I wanted to hear, Dodo. Well, at least tell me that Emirates is making up time and is expected to land here shortly before 1, so that we can see it on the Polderbaan. Oh man. The day that wasn't supposed to be. This is KLM Flight 1406, arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle, 737-800. Weather permitting, Maria, weather permitting. It's always weather permitting. Hey! ETA A380 1259, that is good news, Maria. It means there is a non-0% chance of the A380 landing on the Polderbaan. Well, the airplanes are definitely flying in against a beautiful cloudy backdrop. PH Jet says 1257 on his flight radar. That's even better. That's even better. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Would be a nice compensation for the missed 747. Right, well, it's a KLM Embraer 175. It's a quite rare airplane. You might want to take a picture or a screenshot of this, because this is something you will hardly ever see here at Schiphol Airport. A KLM Embraer 175. Flight 1088, arriving for Cardiff. A long flight, 56 minutes. That's 306 nautical miles. Right, at least the sun is starting to return here. Now in front of a thinner part of the cloud and no longer as dense, so already things are brightening up here and warming up, which is nice because combined with the wind, which is pretty moderate, it's definitely a bit cooler when the sun isn't shining. What's this? Well, you wouldn't believe it. This is an Embraer 190, ladies and gentlemen. Another rarity, and you're seeing them back to back here. Apparently, this is a Britty Hopper. Eastern Airways, a carrier that is flying on behalf of KLM. And this flight is coming in from Teesside or Darlington. Another massive long distance flown by this Embraer 190, 54 minutes. And that is 256 nautical miles. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, and Paul Faircloth is also back in the chat. Good to see you, Paul. For those of you joining us just now and are wondering why no traffic to the Polderbaan, maintenance wasn't announced until the Bezoekbus update, which wasn't ready yet when I scheduled the stream and went to the Polderbaan. The downside is that the alternative would have been the Kaagbaan, but there too the runway would have closed for a brief period of time due to maintenance. So apparently today the maintenance was unavoidable, at least in the morning hours. Full as well, in 25 or so minutes from now the Polderbaan should reopen again. Now in 15 minutes from now, unfortunately, a 747 is going to land on the wrong runway, having already been assigned to the center runway. Delta Airlines Flight 136 is going to be next. That's an A330-300 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. There it is. 6 hours and 57 minutes on the way from Detroit to Amsterdam thus far. Registration is November 812, November Whiskey. Flight time 6 hours and 57 minutes. It's an 18-year-old airplane. First flight October 2006. And Malcolm says, first time I've actually seen the Teesside flight on the stream. We do see it quite regularly, actually. It is absolutely a regular flight. It's a flight that's being flown regularly. If not on a day, it probably is a daily flight, isn't it? Alrighty, our next airplane is going to be Pegasus. Pegasus arriving from Istanbul. A321neo. Flight 7311. Hey, ETA of the A380 is now 12:54. Yeah, well, let's first see when exactly the Polderbaan is going to reopen, because if it is not going to open before the A380's arrival, we're going to be proper effed in the A regardless. Ah, there you go. Jillard says that T-side to Amsterdam is even a 3 times a day flight. Okay. Bird Control is doing an inspection over here. Is that a good thing? Does that mean they'll reopen the runway pretty soon? Hey there, Matthias. Good afternoon. LVNL is still busy, Dodo says. In the meantime, our next airplane going to the runway is KLM flight 622, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. That's 78710 Dreamliner. 7 hours and 14 minutes on the way. The PHBKK Bravo Kilo Kilo. That airplane is 4 years old. Its first flight was in December 2020. Hey, Sarah is also back, and Flying Dutchman as well. Welcome to the show, guys. So you're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we are here at Polderbaan, which is now closed for maintenance until approximately 12:30. It means that we are going to miss out on a Cargolux 747 arriving from Miami, Florida, coming this way. There is another quad squad member coming this way from Frankfurt or so. Hard to see what it is from over here. There's the Cargolux 747. Oh. Second queen of the show, the one getting away. Being preceded by Delta Airlines Flight 144, arriving from Seattle, Washington. This is Cargolux with no flight number, just the call sign 68 Kilo, arriving from Miami, Florida. 7478, the second of the day's show. 7478 freighter, 7 hours and 23 minutes on the way from Miami. The LXVCN Victor Charlie November. It's an 8-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in September 2016. Hey Sebas, goedemiddag. Welcome to the show, everybody else. So if all is well, the Polderbaan should open up again around 12:30. And Maria mentioned just now that the ETA of the A380 is 5 minutes to 1. If the Polderbaan is open by then, there is a significantly higher than 0% likelihood that the A380 is going to land on the Polderbaan, which would be some nice redemption for missing out on this airplane. The first 747 of the show landed here. This one was also supposed to land here. Is that a Chinese triple behind me? Quick look behind me to see that the answer to that question is yes. Right. Drag setting 2 on the pan axis provides a bit more stability with a lot more resistance for me to pull. It does compensate for the wind somewhat. So that was a Chinese triple that passed by in the background. You probably heard that on the mic. Farriers, goedemiddag. Hey, KLM flight 744, ETA 1241, assigned Polderbaan, W says. So, the reopening of the Polderbaan is upon us. That is good news indeed, mate. Now, let's see. No, the other way around is better. Turning back. When in actuality, I didn't need to turn back, but could just follow the airplane like so. Another Lufty 747. No, A340. Not a 747, obviously. Alright. This is KLM flight 1004 arriving from London. You know,
fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Merry fucking Poppins, London.
And after that, we are going to see KLM flight 765 arriving from Bonaire. That's an A330-200. Are there any other airplanes before that KLM flight 644 that already have been assigned to the Polderbaan? Or is 1240 the earliest that the Polderbaan is going to open up? This is KLM flight 765, A330-200 arriving from Bonaire, 8 hours and 50 minutes. The flight time, the PH-AOB FWAB. FWAB is 20 years old. Its first flight was in July 2005. Paul says looks like the 777 is the first, so That's a pity. That means that we still have to wait for almost 20 minutes before the next arrival to the Polderbaan is going to arrive. Now, with the Emirates A380 arriving a couple of minutes to 1, it might be a candidate, it might become a candidate for the Polderbaan. So keep an eye out for the website that Maria posted the URL of just now, because from that website, on that website you will be able to see once that A380 enters into Dutch airspace what runway it will be assigned to. I'm hoping for the Polderbaan. I'm pretty sure we all are. So yeah, big picture wise, the sun once again is shining without any interference. The south is looking like so. The southwest currently looks like this. Looking to the west, it looks like so. Then inward to the east, it looks like so. And looking straight to the north, this is what it currently looks like. Now obviously we need to look a bit to the northeast to see the arrivals to the center runway. If you join us only just now and you're wondering why is the Polderbaan closed, it has to do with maintenance. The end of the Polderbaan closure is near, and then in 40 minutes from now a secondary runway is going to open up again. Yeah, so I wonder if they're even going to close the center runway or if they're going to commence with parallel arrivals just early and maybe stop with it a bit late. Dodo says that Polderbaan is open again. In that case, will KLM flight 984 arriving from London City come this way? Hey Zolurk, goedemiddag. Hey Marissa, goedemiddag. And it seems that we have crossed through 500 likes. Thank you all so much for that. If you are enjoying what you have been seeing thus far and you want to help this channel for free, then liking and subscribing if you haven't done so already is definitely the way to go. It is rumored that likes and subscriptions and shares increase the likelihood of YouTube showing this content to other people who might be interested in joining our community. Whether or not it works, I don't know, but it doesn't hurt to give it a try. Right, well, for the time being everything is coming to the center runway still, despite Polderbaan now rumored to be open again. Here too we have a KLM Embraer 190 that is going for the center runway still. In the meantime, Mark H, mate, what are you doing? Mark H, thank you so much for your stupendously generous gift there. 10 gifted memberships courtesy of Mark H just now. If you are one of the recipients of his gifted memberships, don't forget to say thank you to him. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines new members, and thank you so much, Mark, for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. Yeah, so despite that Dodo says that the Polderbaan is open again, Marissa confirming that the first airplane to this runway is the one that is expected in 20 minutes from now, so hey Ricardo, goedemiddag. Alright, debate in the chat which airplane is going to be the first to the Polderbaan. You'd think that if they opened up the runway, they'll also start sending airplanes to the Polderbaan. What I am also interested in is what the current ETA of the Emirates A380 is going to be. KLM 737-700 arriving from Bergen, flight 1164. Six-two Delta will go to Polder, so that's the one arriving from Prague. That does mean that they'll close the center runway because it is arriving from the east. And if center were to stay open, they would send 6-2 Delta to the center runway. So that means for half an hour, the Polderbaan is going to be the only runway for inbound traffic. And after that, it is back to parallel arrivals for another hour. 12:57 Hans says, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. As it stands right now, there is a good chance that the A380 is going to land here on the Polderbaan. I don't dare to call it definitively yet, but it certainly is looking a bit promising. It's promising, more promising at least now than it was earlier in the morning when the ETA was still 107. For a brief moment, the ETA also has been 12:54, so 57 does seem to be pretty robust before 1 o'clock. We're almost done. We're almost done. The first two airplanes to the Polderbaan are flying base. Embraer Fest continuing. Shamrock A321neo, the last airplane to the center runway then. That's going to follow this Embraer 190. Now, I'm happy to report that after the 737 arriving from Prague, which is going to be the first arrival here back on the Polderbaan, we are going to see two wide bodies immediately after that. There it is. Well, let's have a look on the laptop. Yeah, we lost a lot of viewers already. We didn't have a lot to begin with today. But I'm not surprised. Next up is going to be KLM flight 1354 arriving from Prague. And that's the one in the SkyTeam livery. Now, we also saw the Embraer 190 in the SkyTeam livery, so we are going to see the entire SkyTeam livery fleet of KLM, or at least the current fleet. Obviously, there was a third airplane at some point. That is no longer part of the SkyTeam crew members. The sun is also shining a little bit from behind, so I just placed the solar hood, the solar cap over my camera screen. Twin jet passing overhead. West to east. Oh, come on. There it is. Is that Lufty in the old livery? Bit hard to see. Alrighty. The third airplane approaching should be turning in from the left at some point. It's always hard to estimate where exactly the airplanes are based on what you see on Flight Radar, but I am expecting a Delta A330 to turn in the background from the left, probably a bit above the pipes, or maybe right at the altitude of the pipes, and the pipes are in the way. Yeah, no, there it is, just above the pipes. That is Delta Airlines flight 164 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Ah, Singapore Airlines. Right. So the excavator has moved further to the north, far enough now not to be in the way of the touchdown zone, which it was a bit earlier. Footage a bit shaky, that has to do with the wind. Image stabilizer enabled. It has to do with certain angles. Here it's not so shaky. With the wind from behind when looking at the glide slope, it is actually producing some more vibrations. Delta A330 in the background, flight 164 arrived from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and here in the foreground we have KLM flight 744 arrived from Lima in Peru, which of course is not too far away from PHB VW Bravo Victor Whiskey. 11 hours and 45 minutes on the way. Right, well, the sun was shining for a moment, but now you can see there's more cloudiness in the immediate vicinity. Looking in the direction the wind is blowing from, which is over there, it looks like it's going to get worse. It was mentioned in the weather forecasts already that there were some showers possible in the beginning of the afternoon. So this morning definitely have been the best hours. Now, I'm probably going to wrap up after the A380 has landed regardless. So hopefully tomorrow the weather will be good enough to go out for another stream. If not, maybe Sunday. If not, maybe Monday. If not, next week. Transavia flight from Rotterdam is now number 2, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that's a relocation flight. It probably is. Air Transport Videos is a member for 13 months and he is celebrating 13 months. I just want to say thanks for all the streams. You're welcome, mate. Glad to hear you're enjoying. Hope everybody else is as well. And thank you so much for the ongoing support as a member. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. If anything is amiss, let me know. That goes for all members. Cloud says, interesting Boeing 747 above Wassenaar. Well, that's very interesting. But we are not going to be able to see it from over here. All clouds in the meantime. Third airplane glide stop shot. Third airplane turning in is arriving from Guayaquil. And that is actually in. We have a Transavia, presumably relocation flight here in the foreground, arriving from Rotterdam, flight 82, lot flight 263, and Embraer 175 behind it. And the airplane that is turning in is KLM flight 751, arriving from Guayaquil in Ecuador. And Clipper 2233, thank you so much for your donation. I was just there on Monday. Where are you now? Hope you had a good day. I was here on Monday as well, but not on this side, but on the south side of the runway. Or were we here as well? No, I think we were here as well on Monday. I absolutely was. Hadi Rob, goedemiddag. All is well, thank you for asking. Hope that also goes for you. This is a Sunweb livery from Transavia. Sunweb is a tour operator here in the Netherlands, for those of you who didn't know. And Sunweb loves holidays, in case you didn't know yet. Always a lot to see at Schiphol. Another example of that over there. Flight 263, arriving from Warsaw, Embraer 175 long range, 1 hour and 42 minutes on the way. The Splin, SPLIN, Sierra Papa Lima, India, November. It's a 15-year-old airplane, first flight August 2010. And then a Guayaquil, airplane arriving from Guayaquil. Lot flight 263 has arrived on the scene. Hey, that's interesting. Jillard says, according to Bezoek Bus, between 1 and 2, the Polderbaan and the Oostbaan should be the runways open for arrivals. If that is the case, might be worthwhile sticking around a bit longer than after the A380, because Oostbaan is too small for most of the narrow bodies arriving from the east. So I'm thinking most of the and Thomas de Wit says there's an emergency situation at Schiphol right now. Tell us more. What's going on? Russell is also curious. He is also crying for attention. Rah! Right, A380 to Polder, that's good news. I am curious now what runway use is going to be like. Let's have a quick look then. So, yeah, I totally missed that, but it was there all along. Have a look, guys. Might be worthwhile sticking around a bit longer, because here from 1 till 2, Schiphol Oostbaan is going to be a secondary runway for arrivals. That usually means that the wide bodies are going to come to the Polderbaan. That is good news. In the meantime, the A380 is over here. Has just entered Dutch airspace and is going to land here on the runway we are standing next to. The meter and the ticker automatically updates, but for those of you who want to see visualization of the latest weather report, the wind is still blowing from the south with a bit of variation. Not exactly Cavuquet anymore. We have few clouds at 3,500 feet and the wind has picked up to 16 knots. Which is why the footage is a bit shuddery. Almost pure headwind, so no crabbing or anything spectacular. What is more spectacular is the 757 that we are going to see next. Once again, a 757 arriving from Iceland Air in the old standard livery. Beautiful machine. Don't see them very often anymore. Iceland Air Flight 500 arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. 2 hours and 43 minutes on the way. It's the TFFIP. Tango Foxtrot, Foxtrot India Papa. Now that is a 25-year-old machine. First flight March 2000. Indeed, the Flying Pencil. Well, I don't think that the nickname Flying Pencil was for the 200, but more precisely for the 300. Beautiful machine. The 757. Next up, time for 2 consecutive EasyJets. Look away if you are Luton intolerant, the next one will otherwise give you the cramps. No need to guess where that one is coming from. And this is the GEZDI, G-E-Z-D-I, GEZDI. And Ray, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the show all others who have joined in the meantime. So full as well, the A380 is going to land here pretty soon. And from 1 till 2, the Oostbaan is opening up as secondary runway for arrivals. That usually means that the wide bodies arriving from the east will be assigned to the other runway open, and that's the Polderbaan. Gassy airplane from Luton seems logical. Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? Let's have a look. What else is coming this way? It's all narrow bodies for the time being. Narrow bodies fest has begun. 3 candidates coming this way. A319 EasyJet arriving from Milan here in the foreground. Air Transat A321neo arriving from Toronto as number 2, and the third airplane is Transavia a 737-800 arriving from Faro, which is in Portugal, which is also where the 4th airplane is arriving from. TAP Air Portugal, but not from Faro, but from Lisbon. It's pretty windy, 16 knots of wind. It is mostly headwind, so no crabbing or anything. Two 747s have landed here in today's show. The first one landed here on the Polderbaan. The second one, unfortunately, went to the wrong way. It had to do with a temporary closure of the Polderbaan due to maintenance. Maintenance is over, Polderbaan is open again. And in 15 minutes from now, runway 22, the Oostbaan is going to open up. That's interesting because that's too small of a runway for most. Well, they can land on it. Wide bodies can land on the Oostbaan, but it's more theoretical than that they actually do that. If given the choice, most of them will probably opt to land on the much longer Polderbaan. Russell and his mate are sitting there enjoying the show as well. Front row seats for them as well. Next up is Transavia flight 5356 arriving from Faro in Portugal. 2 hours and 41 minutes on the way. It's the Papa Hotel, Hotel Sierra Mike HSM. Hadi RDB, goedemiddag. Matthias asks if I met Jerry when he was there. And I haven't met him, not once. He has been here while I was also out streaming on several occasions, but never once did our paths cross. In the meantime, this is Air Transat with an A321neo arriving from Toronto, Canada. Dodo says, I believe the center runway will be joining again come 1 o'clock. Could be. I hope not. I hope that Bezoekbus is right. Bezoekbus is indicating Oostbaan and runway 18 right. Now I am happy to see the first aquatic bird of the show, and it is none other than Gary Grebe, the mother ducker. Fighting the wind. Hey Sebas, goedemiddag. That was Gary Grebe, the first and thus far only aquatic bird that we have seen in the canal here. Transavia flight 5356, landing here next. Hey Klaartje, goedemiddag. Good to see you again. Right, K1 is also approaching. Birth control K1. Taipa Portugal will be next. Not operated by pilots but by tap dancers. Flight 668 arriving from Lisbon. A320 Neo. What's that I'm hearing? Oh, that's probably a prop passing a higher altitude. Those airplanes you always hear are extremely hard to find, and even if you are able to find them visually, it's even harder to point your camera in their direction. Anyway, TAP Air Portugal arriving from Lisbon here next. Mercer says Turkish 787 behind the A380 is already assigned to the center runway, so it's center that is going to be opening. Well, in that case, unfortunately Bezoekbus was right with regards to the maintenance, but wrong with respect to the runway use between 1 and 2. Right, well, there you go. Oostbaan not opening up as secondary runway. The A380 is flying over Markermeer towards Purmerend. Normally speaking, when it is in the vicinity of Purmerend, you should be able to see it from over here. There is a 777-300 approaching the glide slope. Fourth, I think, to arrive. Somewhere over there. Somewhere over there. Probably more to the right. Should be the A380. The scale of chimney smoke chimneys are usually a good frame of reference for Purmerend. Purmerend lies behind it. That also means the A380 should be somewhere over there. I am definitely struggling to see anything. It's probably a bit further over there already. The clouds are probably in the way, but they are not continuous, so I'm still hoping to catch a glimpse of the A380 when it is between clouds, in a part unobstructed by clouds. It's also descending. Ah, I've got it. Well, I had it. For a brief moment, I saw it. Let's see, which clouds are that? No, it's further that way already. There we go. There we go. Got a visual on the A380. They're directing the A380 a bit further to the north, so that an Embraer 190 can be sandwiched in between the 777 and it. Hey, and Jackie is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. The A380 is now flying over Alkmaar. Which is about 30 kilometers north of us. Or a bit less. Now it's turning final. Pipes are in the way. Pipes are going to be in the way. Yeah, so this is with the pan and tilt axis locked. You can see this setup is still very shaky even with image stabilizer enabled, and I have guy wires around each of my 3 tripod legs, firmly securing the tripod to the ground. But it is metal, it can flex. This is just me pulling on the tripod legs. This is torque from the tripod legs. I'm still contemplating upgrading my tripod for a Sachtler Flowtech carbon fiber legs and a Sachtler Active 8 head, which is also more heavy. I hope it might make the setup a bit less susceptible to shakes during windy conditions, but I'm not sure that it will, which is why I'm still a bit hesitant. Is there anybody watching who can speak from experience? I cannot reduce the camera size or my phone size. You're still going to be stuck with a camera that is susceptible to wind. Russell, you scoundrel, shut up. Alrighty, this is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. It's a 777-300ER, the PHB VB, Bravo Victor Bravo. 9 hours and 15 minutes on the way. 17-year-old airplane, first flight March 2008. Right. There it is. Emirates Flight 147, the last airplane of today's show. Yeah, and Dodo says you can rent a tripod for a day just to test it, but you have to pick the right day. Because if you rent it on a day where it's not going to be breezy enough, you'll still end up with having spent money on and not have any feedback, any data to work with. Then again, if you are in it for the long run, it doesn't really matter that much, does it? You need to have good stuff that is durable. I am working with a relatively flimsy setup. Anyway, Emirates Flight 147, last airplane of today's show. Flying parallel to it is Turkish Flight 1957, which was assigned to the center runway. Only visible over there. There's number 190 preceding the A380. Obviously, I am not going to focus on its landing. Emirates Flight 147 arriving from Dubai, 6 hours and 17 minutes to flight time. The A6 Echo Oscar Bravo. The airplane is number 7 on flight radar, tracked by 773 people. The airplane is 11 years old, first flight June 2014. No immediate wide bodies behind it going to the Polderbaan, so this is going to be the last airplane for today. Hopefully the weather tomorrow will allow me to go out. I also hope that will be the case on Saturday. No, tomorrow is already Saturday, right? Yeah, it's Friday. I hope that also goes for Sunday and for Monday. I do plan on doing an additional stream on Monday, just like how I did last Monday, because I wasn't able to go out yesterday because of the weather. But it's all weather dependent, as it always is. But you can be on the lookout for another 3 streams tomorrow, Sunday and Monday, weather permitting. If not, I'll be back at some point. First stream with a new data provider, Odido instead of KPN. If there's one company I can highly recommend you don't enter a deal with, it is KPN. They've been bugging me on a daily basis since I cancelled their phone subscription. A380 doing a KLM style landing, idle reverse. idle reverse landing. Rolling out. Vacate late, sooner to the gate. They know by now how far they still need to go. Although, they're lucky. Once they enter the main platform area, their gate, Golf 9, their usual gate, Golf 9, is pretty close by already.
Meegaan.
Right. Well, things are slowly starting to get more cloudy here. The clouds are definitely densing up. There was some rain expected later in the afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of hours we might get a few drizzly droplets. Hopefully not as substantial as yesterday. Hopefully tomorrow things will stay dry. I hope to see you then. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I had a wonderful time. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Enjoy Formula One if that's also on your program for this weekend. Thank you for all the likes, for the super chats, the super stickers, the memberships gifted, and those who became a member themselves. Thank you all so much, moderators, for keeping the stream safe and accessible to all. Hopefully, I'll see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now, guys. Stay safe and see you soon.